Today on the show, I'm talking with Mike Clement. Mike lives in Martinsburg, West Virginia, about 90 minutes outside of DC. While working with the debt relief counselors at Money Management International, Mike paid off $72,000 in debt over 4.5 years. Here today to share more about his debt payoff story is Mike. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.
Man, that's some impressive numbers, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm in awe of that from the start. So, but let's start with you. Let's learn a little bit more about you. Where do you live? What do you do? What do your days look like?
I live, as you said, in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I work for the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm a branch chief at a local installment here. I'm not active duty. I'm a civilian U.S. Government worker. Married, 3 sons, 2 in college, 1 still in high school. He's a junior. He'll be a senior next year, of course. But a day usually looks like it's a little slower now that we only have 1 left in the house. But usually we are going to work, coming home, packing up, and either going to a sporting event or practice or something like that. And it was that way with all 3 of them. And it's a little slower now, but yeah, we're still running.
I can empathize. I got kids in sports. We're sitting out in the cold right now, that like fake spring that's still cold, and enjoying lacrosse and baseball lately. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. Okay. So walk us through kind of what was going on in your life at the time that you sort of ended up getting into that financial situation. And was there kind of any specific moment where you knew you needed some outside help?
Well, I mean, we seemed like we were doing fine, you know. In the back of our minds, we knew we were digging a hole. We had bought a new house. You know, it had 4 acres of land, so we had to get a new riding lawnmower. There was some upkeep and things like that we weren't expecting. The septic tank had some issues. We had to fix that, you know, and then the boys were younger then. They were all 3 in 3 different sports all year round. There was travel ball for baseball and football and lacrosse. Our oldest played lacrosse, and you know, with a new house, it was bigger than our old house, and we needed new furniture. And, you know, it just, hey, they'll give us a credit card for this. Then there was a Home Depot credit card, and then there was a Lowe's credit card. And, you know, with the boys, there's a Dick's Sporting Goods credit card, you know, and school shopping. There's a Kohl's credit card, or wherever we were taking the boys shopping. You know, it just sort of snowballed into, well, $72,000 worth of holy crap. And that's where we ended up.
And so was there any specific like catalyst or moment where you decided now's the time to stop and reach out and get some help? And like, what was that like?
It was right around when the septic tank had its issues. We had to have it completely replaced, and you know, we didn't have anything saved. We were shelling out all this money in monthly payments to the credit card companies. We were making minimum payments. We couldn't get beyond making the minimum payments, and we finally had to take a home equity loan out in order to pay for the septic tank to get repaired. And that payment right there was going to put us close to what we were earning every month almost.
Right.
And we just knew we had to figure something out. And besides the fact that we knew that we weren't going to be able to pay these things off, making minimum payments.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I can empathize. Those septic tanks, man, like when they go down the tubes, it is bad just all around. I've been there, and it's brutal. It really is.
And you definitely want to get them fixed in a hurry.
Oh man, I mean, there's no choice. There's no choice. So no, that's great. Okay, and so how did you first get connected with MMI or hear about MMI? And then like, what was the start of your debt counseling journey like?
We'd seen, I think, commercials on TV, and in the back of my mind, at least, and I've talked to my wife about this, when we'd see them, I'd think, oh, that might be something for us to look into.
Yeah.
But besides Money Management International, there were other companies out there that seemed to look, at least from my perspective, like maybe a scam of some kind, And so there was a little trepidation there with, do I really want to get in bed with one of these groups just to try to figure this out? And when we were going through that whole home equity line of credit stuff, we decided to give Money Management International a call. We thought of the ones that we had seen that they looked the most reputable. We did some research online and saw some good things. And as soon as we called, they put us at ease, and the rest is history. We came up with a plan. We stuck to the plan, and here we are, $72,000 paid off, and 4.5 years later.
Man, so let's talk more about that, right? So you started working with MMI, $72,000 in 4.5 years, which again is just phenomenal. Like, how did getting a personalized debt management plan help you balance your budget and see a path forward? And I'm wondering, like, if you can even call out like any specifics around that, because I'm just so curious how you go from being sort of, like you said, barely making the minimum payment to then, I mean, that's a colossal amount to pay off in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, they put the program together. We gave them all the credit card information, our income information. They worked with the creditors to reduce the interest rates that we had to pay the balances back. And we ended up having to pay, our monthly installment to Money Management International was $1,300. Which was almost $1,000 less than our monthly minimums were for our credit card payments. So not only were we able to make that payment, we were also able to, buy groceries and gas and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Okay. Wow. So then, in a sense, like, it sounds like you almost got in a better financial situation by going with MMI, because, I mean, like you said, like, it was less than the minimum payments were originally, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it definitely helped us. And once we saw that, because we had been down the road of, okay, we're going to buckle down, we're going to pay these credit cards off. We had taken out loans to pay them off in the past and paid the loans off, but then we'd always get more credit cards. And we came to the point where we just decided, once we crossed this bridge with Money Management International, that we couldn't do that anymore. We had to change our behavior. In 10 years, we'd be doing this all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a change in sort of your whole relationship to money, right?
Yeah.
And like the way you think about money has to change, and just all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I've never been great with money. That's one of the things we've tried to teach our boys is, they don't teach you all this stuff in school.
You're right. Yeah.
We have 2 in college, or one just graduated. He's made it through college debt free. And the second one is there. He's looking like he's going to be able to do the same thing. I had student loans. My wife had student loans, so that it all just, and then back when I was in college, I'm sure they still do. They were throwing credit card applications at you. Sign up for this, you get a t-shirt. And so by the time I left college, I had 2 or 3 credit cards, and, it just snowballs.
It does.
And nobody wants to talk about it. It's,
right.
It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're talking about it, because nobody else wants to talk about it. So we'll talk about it right here. We'll talk about it right here. It's gonna be great. So,
we'll be the ones.
Yeah, that's it. We'll blaze the trail. So all right. So what was the credit counseling experience with MMI like? And what would you say like your biggest lesson throughout that experience was?
Most of the counseling took place while we were figuring out what the payment was going to be, what they were going to be able to do for us. They would reach out every now and then just to see where we are, just to make sure, check up on us. You haven't got any more credit cards that we need to know about.
Right.
We were paying off this Home Depot credit card. You didn't go out and get another Home Depot credit,
Right.
And, we never did any of that stuff. They helped us understand right at the beginning that this, besides it being maybe a lack of knowledge issue, it's a behavior issue. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're just going to end up in the same spot.
Get the same results. Yeah, That's right. Yeah. We gotta change the way we think, the way we act, the way we behave. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So, like we talked about a minute ago, like debt's super common. We don't talk about that while we're talking about it now. How do you think debt counseling nonprofits like MMI help to break through that debt stigma?
I think the more people out there that are helped by companies like this, I'll put it this way. I probably wouldn't have talked about our financial issues prior to them being resolved, or Money Management International helping to resolve them. Now that I've been down that path and it was successful for me, for some reason, I don't mind at all telling other people that that's what we had to do and it worked for us. And I suggest if you're in the same boat we were or somewhere close, that you give it a try. It seems like, to me at least, it's something you have to go through in order to be able to talk about it or feel like you can talk about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that I think that's commonly true. That's been a common theme through a lot of the people that I've talked to on this show. And I really appreciate you being willing to do that. Like I've been there, I've done that. That means that other people can also go there and do that, right? Yeah. And that's why we have this conversation. All right, so Mike, last question then. What does freedom from debt look like for you?
We do have a couple credit cards now, but instead of using them whenever we want to, we plan things out. We use them if we have one kid left in high school. He has a baseball tournament coming up in South Carolina for spring break. We're going to use one of the credit cards like we did last year and use it on that trip and then pay it off when we get home. We use them for points, whether they're for trips or cash back, things like that. But we make sure that we pay them off every month and have a zero balance. It's been helped. Our financial situation's been helped, of course. The older you get, usually you get promoted here and there, you get raises, things like that have helped out a little bit. But I think the biggest thing was paying off that $72,000 and learning that lesson of how to use credit if you need to use credit and taking it from there.
Man, that is fantastic. Such a great story. And one I think that many of us can certainly appreciate and relate to. So, Mike, thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you having me.
This guest is a real MMI client whose success is the result of hard work and dedication. While MMI cannot guarantee results, taking early action can increase available options and improve long-term outcomes. Thanks for listening to this episode of Long Story Short, brought to you by Money Management International. To learn more about how MMI helps people from all walks of life get unstuck and out of the vicious cycle of debt through personalized solutions that inspire hope, visit moneymanagement.org. This episode was produced by Edgewise.media. Script writing and production by Clara Jennings, editing by Brandon Ellis, and show hosting by me, Adam Walker.